Now, dear friends, in a summary, Buddhism and Jainism. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Now I go to the Buddha as my refuge. The Buddha taught that you can find your refuge only inside of you. The teaching of the Buddha leads away from anatta to the self, in the way that the self detaches itself from what it essentially is not. This is why he said in his last words, I leave you alone. I return to myself. And when we see Hinayana Buddhism, this is the oldest of the Buddhist schools. The original teaching of the Buddha, later distorted until it degenerated into this insult called Dalai Lama. And I take the karma for those words, believe me. Now, the oldest or the original teaching of the Buddha was everything that you are aware of as transient is not you. Detach from it and return to where you came from. Nirvana. And Hinayana Buddhism is still taught in Ceylon, Burma, Siam, Cambodia. A Hinayana monk only wants own salvation, and he saves all the rest because his bodhisattva remains. To understand that, we have to study the Book of Light or Divine Message from the True God, or in German, Purpose of Life, Nirvana, both books 1 and 2, Buddhism as it should be. So Mahayana, the later Mahayana, is completely unnecessary and did great harm with the teachings of the Buddha. We can say that the Tipitaka, or the first two baskets, maybe not even Tipitaka, not the three, the first two baskets, are containing, in essence, teachings of the Buddha. Now, what is a Jaina? He is a follower of Jainism. And the founder is Parsva. The Book of Light teaches that, but there may have been, movements before who led to Jainism, or where they already practiced Jainism without calling it Jainism. Mahavira proclaimed it, 477 BC, about that. And so we see that Jainism and Buddhism have many things in common. It's just that Jainism leads to the jina reaches the upper realms of the curved universe. The universe is curved in his manifestation. And still it's not nirvana. So such a being, a jina, may come in touch with the teachings of the Buddha. How? By Akasha Chronic. And by being there, he may continue meditating and reach nirvana. The Jaina keeps his soul pure by 5 precepts. One of them is non-violence, non-killing, kill nothing. That's why they wear those cloth in front of the mouth, not to inhale some insects or so. Well, I already mentioned it. I think that if a Jaina squashes an ant by accident, some of them, and they are naked, they sit inside an anthill to outlive that karma rapidly there. Now, all these austerities, said the Buddha, lead you very high, but not to nirvana. See, this is the difference. And there were 2 main forms of Jainism: Digambaras, the naked, and Svetambaras, in white clothes. And later, dear friends, there was antagonism between Jainism and Buddhism. And I mentioned it already, I think. The Buddhists call the Jainas or Jinas Tirthikas, which is ironical, Brahmanic ascetics, but with an undertone. And the Jainas cursed the Buddhists as Tirthikas, and they meant non-believers, unbelievers, unclean. See, you may ask yourself, how is it possible that a high being like a Jaina, or even some high Buddhist monks already, who have no sex, who have no meat, they only drink water, they eat once a day, and yet they start cursing? How is that possible? Well, it is. You see, I always said, and it's the teaching of the Book of Light, that the black magicians and the white magicians live the same or stay alive. They have no sex, Kundalini arises, and they don't drink alcohol, nothing, they don't smoke. They are vegetarians. They eat fruits, and yet they can be upset. If you direct, you see, you have accumulated then high amount of Kundalini, and those ascetics are known sometimes to curse each other, to be in front of each other. They fight with each other. Do you know how? You think they box or do kung fu? No. They just reach out their hand, and Kundalini leaves like a flame through their fingertips, and they can attack themselves with energy. They use this Kundalini like a weapon. It's possible. But of course, it's not good, leads to bad karma. So, we know that, because you see, Tirthikas, when I say that, actually it means somebody who goes to a holy place, who belongs to a holy place, a Tirtha. So you can use these words to insult somebody. Now the Jaina committed, some of them, holy suicide, salakana, starvation. They left this world. But, dear friends, I can only repeat it, dear Jainas also, you will not reach nirvana if you follow those paths of austerities. You will reach maybe the highest part of the curved universe. And maybe there you will find an Akasha, or you find the teachings of the Book of Light, or you listen to my words. You see, my words are not only for physical realms. We know that energy cannot be wasted, or still there. It can only be transformed. So you see, this teaching goes everywhere. And it reaches those beings. And maybe now, while they are there, they don't feel too happy, sort of. They say, oh, there's still something. So in their highest realms, in their highest spiritual satya bodies, they may decide to meditate, to practice soul breath meditation, to even get rid of their spiritual body and to attain nirvana. May all beings be happy. May they all be free of suffering. Satya nasti paradharma iti maya shrutam. Love and light, Yolanu.